Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The King of Comedy, and this movie is directed by Martin Scorsese, and it came out in 1982, starring Robert De Niro. A little context before I get into the review itself. I was working for like 14 hours, and I had just enough time to watch this movie, and by the time this movie was over, I was I had to go to bed, and didn't really have any time to review it because I needed time to process it. But what I will say is that I left the movie with a huge smile on my face and being like, that was worth it. And I was just so happy that I watched a really great movie, because I feel like I haven't watched that one in a while. Or I know I haven't, but it feels like a lot longer than it actually has been for me. And if you've seen the movie Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix, which I've reviewed on my channel already, but what I kept hearing was that there were a lot of similarities between this movie and Joker. It took a lot of inspiration from this movie, and while watching it, I can definitely see it, but at the same time, it doesn't bug me at all because I love how everything is presented, and it just feels so appropriate, and everything about the movie just works. And I love Robert De Niro. This is easily one of my favorite performances from him. I don't know which would be my number one, but this is definitely up there. He really it doesn't feel like a character he would play based on anything else I've seen from him, like Godfather Part 2, Taxi Driver, or anything else, even Irishman, Goodfellas, Casino. I know those are a lot of Scorsese movies, but just based on everything I've seen him in, I wouldn't expect him to play a character like this. And he really works in the movie. He fits it perfectly, and he's a different person. And I really believed him in the film, and he's playing a comedian who's hasn't really had his big breakthrough yet, and he's trying to get into the business, but he has a lot of things he has to do in order to get to that point. There's a lot of things going on in this movie, and there were some directions the story went down that I was not expecting at all, and it is quite unpredictable at points, and you have no reason to suspect certain things. And I really loved the story, despite me kind of being familiar with it because of Joker, but it wasn't distracting to me, thankfully, and I was able to experience this movie without constantly thinking of Joker throughout the entire film. And I do think this is a very well shot movie. It looks great, and I think the usage of music is really good, and it fit the scenes very well. And I also like how information is presented, and the way I interpreted certain scenes and moments was that it was trying to be a little bit comedic in its tone, and that's something that I felt as though was intentional, was that it was a really funny movie at points. And I thought those moments worked successfully. And this movie isn't even 2 hours long, and it just flies by for me, and no scene feels like it's dragging on for too long. And by the end of the movie, I was like, I want to watch this again. And it was just such a great experience for me. And I also really enjoyed the small little detail of our main character, Rupert Pupkin. And I liked how everyone mispronounced it. That was kind of funny. And that happens many, many times in the film. And I couldn't even tell you how many times that happened. At least 20. Maybe more. And I also really enjoyed how Rupert Pumpkin, as a character, he was convinced in his mind that he's successful, and he can just do anything that is just presented right in front of him. And he's I'm a hard worker, I'm good at what I do. And he believes that he's successful. He believes that he has the talent and he's got what it takes. And in reality, he's not that. He's kind of just a guy who's like everyone just sees as really annoying and just doesn't want to be around. And I mean, there are other things going on as well, but like that's basically how people treat him, basically, and that's what's going on the surface level. And also he lives with his mom, and whenever he's like practicing his talk show like that he has in his basement, his mom is like telling him to like turn it down, be quiet, I'm trying to rest here. And he's like, Mom, I'm working here. I mean, that's not like the exact lines of dialogue, but that's basically what's going on. And it's just little moments like that I think are really great. And this movie never really falls under like the scenario of things just being super uncomfortable, where it's just like embarrassing to watch unintentionally to the point where it's just cringe and I just can't watch anymore. And while it does kind of step into that territory a little bit, it doesn't turn into cringe like unintentionally. Everything comes off as like natural, just from the writing and to like the dialogue, and that to being held up by the performances and how everything is presented. Like all of that makes all of this worth watching, and I would highly recommend this movie. And if you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. I think it's worth your time. And if you've seen Joker, then you might be familiar with like some of the beats that are in this movie. Not that the entirety of this movie is going to be spoiled for you if you've seen Joker, but I do think that this movie is definitely worth your time, at the very least. So definitely check it out once you have the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The King of Comedy a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The King of Comedy, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Starman, directed by John Carpenter. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.